Way back Quickie. If you're ever debating someone about history and you cite a source, they're likely to come back with a maxim, history is written by the winners. The idea is that the historical record is biased in favor of the winners, not just in war, but in political and other conflicts as well. Since the winners have the power to control and shape the way history is recorded and learned by future generations, we end up with a one-sided or incomplete view of the past. There's some truth to this. People in power have the ability to shape the narrative of events, especially if they're in charge of the news media or the educational system. This can lead to a distorted understanding of what really happened and give the victors the good and noble motivations while making the defeated party out to be immoral or barbaric. And certainly there are examples. Take the so-called robber barons who, children are taught, were horrible thieves stealing wealth as opposed to the good and noble government, when, if anything, it was the other way around. But ironically, the saying has the capacity to mislead people in the same way they claim the victors do. It's an oversimplification of the process of generating historical narratives and doesn't take into account other factors, such as the varying and diverse perspective of historians, the availability of primary sources, and the cultural and social context that history is written in. It also implies that history is a fixed, objective account of events. To the contrary, history is always subject to interpretation and reinterpretation. And the saying would seem to imply that historical negationism is the rule when it's very much an exception. History is constantly being revised as new information comes to light, or as different interpretation of the existing accounts are made. It also implies that there is only one version of history, when in fact history is a landscape of multiple competing narratives, accounts, and opinions of the same set of events. One big problem that the maxim doesn't take into account is that there are also losers who are able to write and shape the history, such as resistance groups, civilians, non-combatants, and other marginalized groups, who also have the ability to give their own take on historical events. It's also far too often used to defend completely debunked and even morally dubious claims about history, such as Holocaust denial. You can't just wave off problems of your account with a cliche. History is a fluid and ever-changing process of discovery and rediscovery. An interpretation of events can change over time as new information becomes available and perspectives shift. If someone says to you history is written by the winners, it might just be because they're one of the losers.